Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another video. So, as you may know or not know, or however, the Oscars are about to come up this upcoming Sunday. So yeah, the Oscars are coming up this upcoming Sunday, and every year I do a video basically explaining the snubs, some of the snubs from every single or most of the categories that are in the Oscars. So yeah, normally in the past I've done this video kind of in combined with just my reaction to the Oscars as a whole. But I think this year, I may have done it last year, but I think this year is when I'm actually going to go forward with it. And now every year since maybe last year, this year for sure, I'm basically going to be doing a video basically describing my snubs on for the Oscars and a bunch of particular categories. So yeah, I'm going to start off with the most obvious one, or Best Picture, in the most obvious category, the holy grail of the Academy Awards. And basically some of the Best Picture Best Picture snubs could have been nominated. Now, for those who don't know, for Best Picture, you can nominate a total of 10 movies. Since I believe 2008 or 2009, they could nominate a total of 10 movies. However, they've never reached that 10. They've always stayed at 8 for whatever reason. So yeah, I think these are some of the movies that could have possibly been in those other two spots for Best Pictures. And there's basically I think these are 10 movies right here that I have for Best Picture, that could possibly be for Best Picture. Now, first off, before I even mention any of these movies, I will say there are a few movies that I will mention that I haven't seen. So why am I including it? It's because of what I've heard from the movie, the type of reception it's gotten, and that's why I'm saying these movies and why they should be nominated, or that's why I'm saying this actor, or actress, or screenplay, or etc. When I didn't see it, because from what I've heard, it sounds like an incredible film. So yeah, so start off with Best Picture. Steve Jobs for Best Picture. Yeah, I actually think Steve Jobs should have been nominated for Best Picture. I really do think that's a huge snub. So yeah, next up, Carol. I haven't heard too much of Carol. I believe it does have a few nominations for not Best Picture, but it does have a few nominations, I believe, for Best Actress, or one of the acting awards. But it's one of those films that many people expected it to have blown up, so to speak, and just nobody really heard anything of it after the Academy Awards. Next up, Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So yeah, let me explain myself here. So the only Star Wars film to ever have been nominated for Best Picture is the first one, Episode 6, A New Hope, whatever you want to call it. That's the only one. After that, every other Star Wars film has basically been relegated to just the technical awards, best sound mixing, best visual effects, etc. And I really did think that this was going to be the movie that would have possibly broken that habit, broken that tradition, so to speak, and actually have proven that you could have a good action-packed movie, and it's still being worthy for Best Picture. Now, you could argue that that's Mad Max's job, and although many people do love Mad Max, I didn't think it was that good a movie, to be honest, that I put it on my top 10 best movies of 2015. No, I put it as an honorable mention. I thought it was a good movie, but I didn't think it was anything fantastic. I do think if there was one action thriller type of movie that should have been nominated, it would have been Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So yeah. Next up, the Danish girl. Transgender. I think nowadays that's something that the Academy Awards just kind of wants. Not the transgender aspect, but breaking the rules and what is visually acceptable. So that's why I thought they were actually going to nominate the Danish girl for Best Picture. Straight Outta Compton. Yeah, now this one could go one of two ways. You could go with the racist route and say, oh, it's just a bunch of white old guys who don't know anything about life, rich white old guys. That's why they didn't nominate Straight Outta Compton. So you could go that route. That's why they didn't nominate it. Or you could just say that I didn't get enough votes or some shit like that. Either way, they get nominated. Straight Outta Compton definitely should have been nominated, and definitely should have been nominated for more awards than it did. Only one for screenplay. Like, what the fuck? So yeah. Next up, speaking about screenplay, Ex-Machina. Yeah, I mean, this was one of those. In my opinion, this was my second favorite movie of last year. First one being The Revenant. Ex-Machina, many people were talking about Ex-Machina, how it could be a Best Picture contender, how Alicia Vikander could win Best Actress for her role as the robot, Oscar Isaac, Domhnall Gleeson, etc. Now, Alicia Vikander did get a nomination, but it was for the Danish girl, if I'm not mistaken, not for Ex-Machina. Many people say she was good in the Danish girl, but she was fantastic in Ex-Machina. So, yeah, another movie I thought was going to get way more buzz than it actually did. Speaking of which, Sicario. Yeah. And Sicario got nominated for a few things, but I can't really remember what it was. Cinematography, was that one of them? Again, another movie where I thought it was going to get more buzz than it did, and it just didn't. Speaking of which, Creed. Okay, yeah, Sylvester Stallone, he's going to win the for Best Supporting Actor, definitely. But holy shit, this movie, we're talking about a movie that actually did get snubbed like a fucker in the Oscars. Okay, like straight out of Compton, Ex-Machina, and now we have Creed that really did get snubbed in the Oscars. Michael B. Jordan should have been nominated for Best Actor at the very least. Who else? His girlfriend, maybe Best Supporting Actress if you really want to put it, but I do think this could have been also nominated for Best Directing and whatever, which we'll get to later. So yeah, Concussion. We always have that one oddball film that we all think is good, but we never really picture it getting, actually winning Best Picture. We think of it, yeah, it could get a nomination, kind of like the underdog. Nobody's going to pay attention to it, but whatever. This year, I believe I want to say it's probably Brooklyn, the one that nobody's really paying attention to. Haven't seen Brooklyn, so, just switch to Brooklyn for Concussion. So, yeah. And last but not least, for Best Picture, Beast of No Nation. Or Beast of Nation, or something like that. I've heard great stuff about it. I haven't seen that movie, but I've heard great stuff about it. So, might as well add it to the list as well. And, almost forgot one more. And last but not least, and the film that I definitely thought was going to get a lot of buzz once award season came up, and I haven't seen any love for it, The Walk. I thought The Walk was a great movie. It was one of my favorite ones of 2015, and I've heard nothing from it in just the award season. I haven't heard anything from like the BAFTAs or not the Grammys. What's the other one called? Golden Globes. I haven't heard anything from The Walk from any other award show. So this one's one that I'm completely shocked isn't getting any recognition at all. So yeah, now for animated film. Best Animated Film, I do have one snub, the Peanuts movie. How the fuck was that not nominated? Yeah, the Peanuts movie. That one should have been nominated for Best Animated Feature or Film. Now on to the Best Actor. Number one, we have Idris Elba for Best Actor for Beast of No Nation. Again, I've heard many great things about his performance in that movie, saying that it was one of the standouts. I've heard some people say it should be supporting actor or best actor. I don't really know because I haven't seen the movie, so I'm just going to put it for best actor. So, yeah, speaking of which, Johnny Depp, best actor for Black Mass. Black Mass, it wasn't completely a great movie, so it's not like best picture quality or anything like that. But there is one standout, and that is Johnny Depp. Yeah, I mean, the only thing he had before Johnny Depp was Mordecai, and apparently that was bad. So he really pulled it off. It's probably one of his best performances in years. And I think the only other Johnny Depp role I could remember that he's been nominated for is Jack Sparrow, which is interesting to say the least. But, I think this is one of the few times where we actually see him in a serious role, and they don't even recognize it. So, yeah, Johnny Depp for Black Mass. Now, next up, as I was saying before, Michael B. Jordan for Best Actor for Creed. Self-explanatory, great movie, great performances. The only one that gets nominated is Sylvester Stallone. Other people should have been nominated. So, yeah. Speaking of which, Will Smith for Concussion for Best Actor. Again, Will Smith, here's the thing. He had an accent in this movie, and that's like the one thing that could make it or break it, and he made it. He made the character his own, and again, Concussion, it may be a by-the-numbers, true story, biopic type of movie, but, Will Smith, great actor, hasn't won any Academy Awards, come to think of it. And although I don't think he should win the Academy Award that goes to Leo right now, I do think he should have been nominated at the very least. And yeah, then this one I don't know if I should put in best actor or best supporting actor. The next two I'm not sure if they're more best actor or best supporting actor, but Michael Keaton for Spotlight, he definitely does deserve that. And he doesn't deserve the trophy. Again, that's for DiCaprio, but he does deserve the nomination at the very least. You got one from Mark Ruffalo and one more for Rachel McAdams. But I do think that Michael Keaton does deserve the nomination at the very least for Best Actor for Spotlight. And also, Jason Mitchell for Straight Outta Compton. He portrayed Eazy-E. Great, powerful performance. Again, another movie I thought was going to get loads more praises than it did to come Academy Award season or just award season in general, and all it got was fucking the script, the screenplay. That's all it got. So yeah, Jason Mitchell. Now on to Best Supporting Actor. We have Benicio del Toro for Sicario. If you've seen the movie, you more or less know what I'm talking about. He's like the silent badass type, and you still root for him regardless. So yeah. Next up, O'Shea Jackson for Straight Outta Compton. He portrayed Ice Cube, and he's Ice Cube's son. So yeah, and they kind of showed it how it's not really about nepotism. Like they didn't cast him out of nepotism. They actually had to train or practice for his role as Ice Cube. Even though his trainer is his father, he still had to like portray the character. So portray the character properly. He's like, I don't want this to come as nepotistic or whatever. I want to show that he actually earned his place as Ice Cube in the movie. So again, another great performance, O'Shea Jackson. So yeah, as I was saying before, Tessa Thompson for Creed as Michael B. Jordan's girlfriend in the movie. Great, again, another great role, short but sweet in kind of way. Yeah, it's basically that, short but sweet. Yeah, this is best supporting actress, by the way. So that's a short but sweet role. So I do think she should deserve at least a nomination for it. And she's kind of like the Adrian of the Creed franchise or whatever. Creed is still Rocky, but I guess you know what I mean. Creed, I guess, is a spin-off of Rocky in a sense. And she's kind of like the Adrian character in Creed. So yeah, next up for best directing or best director, Ridley Scott for The Martian. I'm actually really surprised that I'm surprised Adam McKay got a nomination for Best Director and not Ridley Scott. If you've seen my review for Big Short, you just know how much I dislike that movie. I didn't do a full-on rant video because I did find some enjoyment, but it did piss me off that I got nominated so much come award season. I thought okay, it's a movie. I didn't like it. Who gives a shit? And come award season, it's getting nominated for every single big time award, including Best Picture. So, yeah, I'm surprised that Adam McKay got nominated for it and not fucking Ridley Scott for The Martian. Speaking of which, Alex Garland for Ex-Machina, Best Director. Again, another movie. This is a movie, again, as I said before, I thought it was going to get a lot more recognition, and it just got nominated for like 2 awards. So yeah, and again, Ryan Coogler for Creed, another movie I thought was going to get a lot of recognition, and nothing. Again, F. Gary Gray for Straight Outta Compton, a lot of recognition, and nada, okay? All great movies, well directed, and they barely got shit come award season. So, yeah, now for adapted screenplays. I assume this is going to be adapted screenplay. It's going to be screenplay something. And that's going to be Aaron Sorkin's for Steve Jobs. Probably one of the most brilliantly written films of 2015. And Adam Sorkin, he's a great writer. He's a great, screenplay writer. He's been nominated. I believe he's been nominated many times. I'm not sure if he's ever won, but I know for sure he's been nominated many times. And I'm surprised. I thought he was going to be a shoo-in for the Academy Awards. I thought he was I thought that not only will he be nominated, I thought he was going to win the award for Best Screenplay, whether it be adapted or original. And he doesn't even get nominated, so yeah. Next up, Black Mass for Best Costume Design. Just look at Johnny Depp, okay? And you can't look at... You could say I'm a bit of a hypocrite. How can you say Black Mass for Best Costume Design, and then last year you said Foxcatcher shouldn't deserve the nomination for Best Costume Design? It's because in Foxcatcher, all they had to do was just make the nose, Stephen Carell's nose, a bit crooked, okay? In this movie, you had to literally transform Johnny Depp physically. I mean, in the other movie, all you had to do was change his nose a bit, and oh, that's it, he's a character. in this movie, you had to completely change his physique. So, yeah, and just the costume design in general is incredible. And again, black mask for costume design, and black mask for best and black mask for best hairstyle and makeup. They kind of go hand in hand in a sense. So, yeah, now on to the visuals, okay? Ant-Man for best visual effects. Pretty obvious. Avengers Age of Ultron for best visual effects. Pretty obvious. Jurassic World for best visual effects. Pretty obvious. This one may come as a surprise. The Walk for best visual effects. Let me explain myself a bit on this one. So when you're on the Twin Towers, who's the guy? The director. I forget the director of the. Oh fuck. What's his called? The director of The Walk. Sometimes he had these shots where you look down through the Twin Towers and it just looks realistic, and there's even shots where they literally just go down with it and it just looks amazing, and you believe the fact that you are on top of the Twin Towers, you're on top of the Statue of Liberty, depending on where you're at in the movie, and you just, you believe the fact that you're on top of these places, and it all looks so realistic. So that's why I'm surprised that The Walk didn't get any recognition again this year. And one more, maybe a bit of an outsider, but whatever. San Andreas for best visual effects. I mean, for a disaster movie, one thing that needs to be there, great visual effects. Does San Andreas have that? Hell yeah. Now a couple more. The last three. Furious 7 for best sound mixing, pretty obvious. Furious 7 for best sound editing, pretty obvious. And for the music category for best song or original song, See You Again from Furious 7 for best song. Again, I haven't heard any of the songs from that were nominated for this year for best original song. First off, one of them is from 50 Shades of Grey. I don't even care to hear that, even if it's from The Weeknd. You have Youth 3 or some shit like that or song number 3 from Youth or some. You have basically a bunch of movies I haven't heard, and one of the most hated movies of last year. Okay, and I feel like See You Again it was again an obvious choice. Not only did I think it was gonna get nominated, I thought it was gonna win best original song, and it doesn't even get nominated. So yeah, and again, Furious 7, I thought I was gonna get nominated for a bunch of the visual awards or whatever, but then again, it's not really that visually astounding. It's more about the sound mixing and shit. So that's why I'm surprised it didn't get any nominations for best sound mixing and editing. So yeah, and then See You Again. I thought that was a shoo-in. I thought that was not only was that going to be nominated, I thought that was going to win. I thought that was going to win best song. So I was really surprised when that wasn't even mentioned. So yeah, again, that's my list of all the Oscar snubs for this year, or what I believe are the Oscar snubs. Just to go over it again, all the best picture snubs, I would have to say Steve Jobs, Carol, Star Wars The Force Awakens, The Danish Girl, Straight Outta Compton, Ex-Machina, Sicario, Creed, Concussion, and Beast of No Nation. And The Walk for best animated film, I'd have to say the Peanuts movie. For best actor, Idris Elba for Beast of No Nation, Johnny Depp for Black Mass, Michael B. Jordan for Creed, and Will Smith for Concussion, and William and Michael Keaton for Spotlight. For best, and Jason Mitchell for Straight Outta Compton. For best supporting actor, I'd have to say Benicio del Toro for Sicario, O'Shea Jackson for Straight Outta Compton. For best supporting actress, Tessa Thompson for Creed. For best director, Ridley Scott for The Martian, Alex Garland for Ex Machina, Ryan Coogler for Creed, F. Gary Gray for Straight Outta Compton. For screenplay, Aaron Sorkin for Steve Jobs. For costume and design, for best costume design, Black Mass. For hairstyle and makeup, Black Mass. For visual effects, Ant-Man, Avengers Age of Ultron, Jurassic World, The Walk, and San Andreas. For best sound mixing, Furious 7. Sound editing, Furious 7. And best song, See You Again from Furious 7. So that's basically the list. I'll leave the list down below in the description for those who want to check it out. And yeah, so what do you think are the biggest Oscar snubs this year? What are your thoughts on it? Obviously, there's much hate on the fact that there's no black people even nominated this year for the Oscars. I feel like although it is a glaring issue, although I do think it's a glaring issue, I don't think it has to do with race. You know, an actor is just an actor, whether whether you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, or whatever. I think it just depends on your talent. It has nothing to do with race. So although I do think it is a glaring issue, I do think people are also blowing it a bit out of proportions at the same time. So yeah, that's my quick thoughts on it. And yeah, that's basically it for now. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, and comic book reviews. Comment down below on your thoughts on the biggest snubs of this year. You know, what are your thoughts on that? Like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.